You're nothing but a janitor stick to cleaning floors, not fighting men." The MMA trainer's words echoed across the gym, sharp and cruel, slicing deeper than any punch. The fighters roared with laughter. But when the quiet janitor finally stepped into the cage, one punch silenced the room forever. The gym buzzed with the sound of gloves pounding heavy bags and the thud of bodies hitting mats. Sweat hung in the air like a fog. Fighters moved with discipline, their eyes following every word of their trainer. He was the kind of man who thrived on control out, cocky, proud of his status, but then his gaze shifted to the janitor sweeping in the corner. His smirk widened. "Hey, mop boy," he barked. "This isn't your playground. Stick to floors. You don't belong in a gym built for men." The laughter of fighters rolled through the room. The janitor's broom paused mid-sweep. His eyes lowered, his lips pressed together. He said nothing. His silence seemed to irritate the trainer more than any answer could. He was a man of few words, dressed in faded overalls, his hands calloused from years of work. Every day he arrived before dawn, cleaned the sweat-stained mats, replaced broken equipment, and slipped away when training began. To the fighters, he was invisible, someone beneath notice, but there was something in his stillness, a gravity that none of them understood. His silence was not weakness. It was patience. The trainer grabbed a pair of gloves and hurled them at the janitor's feet. "If you think you're more than a mop, prove it. Step into the cage. Let's show everyone how a janitor gets torn apart." The fighters shouted encouragement, eager for a show. The janitor looked down at the gloves. For a long, heavy moment, the room seemed to hold its breath. Then, without a word, he bent down, picked them up, and slid them onto his hands. The laughter faded into murmurs. Something about the way he tightened the straps careful, deliberate sent a strange ripple of unease through the room as he flexed his fingers inside the gloves. Memories surged like ghosts. Years ago, he had walked into cages just like this, but under bright lights and deafening crowds. His fists had been his only weapon against hunger and despair. He had fought to pay bills, to put food on the table, to survive. He remembered the roar of the crowd, the crack of bone, the victories that left him bloody but undefeated. He remembered the injury, to the one fight that ended it all. When his knee gave way and his career vanished overnight, the world forgot him. The bills piled up. And so he picked up a broom now, standing in the same kind of cage that had once defined him. The old scars on his body seemed to burn. But what hurt more were the fresh scars, the daily insults, the sideways glances, the quiet disrespect of being dismissed. He heard his father's voice in memory. "Strength isn't in fists, son. It's in how you carry yourself when the world calls you nothing." That voice steadied him. The janitor stepped inside the cage. The clang of the metal door locking behind him echoed like thunder. The trainer grinned, playing to his audience. He flexed his arms, shadow boxed dramatically, soaking in the attention. The fighters cheered, but their laughter faltered when the janitor raised his hands into a stance. It wasn't sloppy. It wasn't clumsy. His shoulders squared, his feet planted, his eyes locked with calm focus. A murmur rippled through the crowd. "Wait. He knows what he's doing," one whispered. The trainer danced around, taunting, throwing light jabs. He expected the janitor to flinch. But the janitor slipped each punch with ease, his head moving with practiced grace. The trainer threw harder, faster, but every strike missed its mark. Gasps spread through the gym. Fighters leaned forward, eyes widening. This wasn't a man learning defense for the first time. This was muscle memory precise, refined, unstoppable. The trainer's smirk wavered. Frustration flared. The trainer lunged recklessly, his pride demanding dominance. The janitor's eyes narrowed. He had seen this opening 1,000 times. His body coiled like a spring, then released. His fist exploded forward, landing flush on the trainer's jaw. The sound was sharp, final like a hammer striking steel. The trainer's eyes rolled back. His body crumpled before he even hit the mat. The gym went silent, the noise sucked out of the room. One hit. That was all it took. The fighters stood frozen, mouths open, disbelief painted on every face. Their idol lay unconscious at their feet, and in the center of the cage stood the janitor, calm, steady, breathing controlled. He did not celebrate. He did not gloat. He lowered his hands and let the silence fill the room. The weight of it was heavier than any cheer. One young fighter whispered, "Who is he?" The janitor removed his gloves slowly, setting them neatly on the mat. He looked at the trainer sprawled on the floor, then turned his gaze to the fighters circling the cage. His voice was low, steady, unshaken. Never measure a man by his job. Measure him by the respect he gives and the battles he's already fought. Then he walked out, picked up his broom, and continued his work as though nothing had happened, but nothing in that gym would ever be the same again. Fighters who once laughed now watched him with quiet reverence. They had seen arrogance collapse in one hit, and they had seen dignity stand taller than pride.